Hello, everyone. I'm Father Peter Kaczmarek, the pastor of St. Francis of Assisi Catholic Church in Greenlawn. And we're in the season of Mother's Day, but we're also in the season of sacraments, too. All of the churches are celebrating First Communions, and all of the churches are celebrating, many of the churches are celebrating confirmation. We were fortunate to have Bishop Robert Coyle with us. He's our vicar for the western part of Suffolk as the celebrant for our confirmation program, and of course we do the First Communions ourselves. One of the important things to remember about First Communion is it's such a beautiful day for the simple-hearted second graders. They genuinely look forward to it, they genuinely connect with it, and they really serve as little evangelists to their parents. Statistics show that if a family, as a family, is going to get more connected to the church or more frequent in their mass attendance, it's going to be around the time that one or other of the children are making their First Communion. It's obvious when you're in the church there, you see the parents, you see the ones that you know that are regular ones, and you see the others. They're all eyes and they're all ears, and they're saying to themselves in some ways, I wish I were here more often. They hear themselves saying that. Whether they'll follow through on that or not, whether they'll accept that grace and come forward, we hope sincerely that they will. But it's really a time of prayer for the children, and it's a time when the children are able to be evangelists to their own parents just by their own enthusiasm. They don't even have to say, let's get to church on Sunday. In some instances the kids do, but in many they don't, but they hunger for it, and that hunger is picked up by the parents, and in some real way it is a beautiful moment of grace for so many of our families. Mother's Day, of course, is every culture, every country celebrates it a little bit differently. It's an American import, the idea of a special day for mothers. I spent some time in my education, the education part of my career in Italy, in Rome, and of course Italy had Il Giorno di Mamma. Il Giorno di Mamma, though, was just really a takeoff on an American way of celebrating. Italians, of course, celebrate their parents in so many different ways. But let's just say, for example, that we think about American mothers. What do we think of? Sometimes we think of something like breakfast in bed. If the kids are small, mom's got to stay in bed, because even while she's enjoying the half-cooked bacon or the cold boiled eggs that got to her, and thinking about the cleanup that she'll have to be responsible for, but she makes sure she enjoys it and enjoys the efforts of the kids to do it. The older kids might have queen for a day or something like that. But again, on the other hand, mom's looking forward, well, is dad going to help me clean up after this and put things back in order? It doesn't matter. It's just a beautiful day, and moms who are really tuned into it know how to celebrate with their children and bring out the best in everybody. Honor your father and your mother. Well, there's only one commandment, really, of the 10 that deals with the domestic life of families, and it's this one. The others are all about specific kinds of things, even, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods and so forth like that. It's of course, that can deal with family situations too, but specifically the fourth commandment. And the fourth commandment can be misunderstood. We're thinking of children who need to obey their parents, and that's true. There's many proverbs in the book of Proverbs. The authorship is credited to Solomon himself, and Solomon himself at least contributed the core of the book, or so it seems. But anyway, there's many things about God has set a parent or a mother over her sons. Okay, even the wise man wanted to make sure that even sons, grown sons, knew that they had to listen to what their mother said. After they hit a certain age, a smart woman is not going to try to control their lives, but the idea that they honor their parents, even in these later times, is important. So really, honor your father and your mother comes down to being a plea to, or a command from the Lord, that grown children, look out for their weakened and frail mother or even father too, and in their declining years, make sure they take care of them. We have that little adage, a mother can raise 5 children, but 5 children can't take care of one mother. And there's some truth in that, of course, and it's more complex than that. It's often that what comes out is not so much the relation of each child to the parent, but the relationship of the children to each other, their ability to cooperate, make decisions, give in to each other, work together, is tested, as parents get more frail and can't do many things for themselves completely independently. So the whole idea is really that the commandment really focuses on the responsibilities of adult children with regard to their parents. Okay, so it's an easy thing to see how the needs of a parent can be neglected, if the children are leading busy lives. Now we have one phenomenon today that makes the whole thing even more complicated, and that's of course that children tend to move far away, especially a place like Long Island, where it's difficult. The housing situation and the economics of the place work against young people settling here. So they settle in far off places. In my own instance, of course, my younger brother went to California. My sister had gone much earlier on to Arizona. Okay, now the grown children and their children are living in Texas or in California. So you see, it's the opposite side of the country. Yes, there's the telephone, yes, there's the internet and so forth, but still, it's not quite the same. So you really do have to factor all these things in when you consider, what lifestyle we really want. How do we include our parents in our lives in a way that's organic and in a way that's conducive to the psychological well-being of everybody. We can't rely on the one child who stayed home or the one child who got married and stayed on Long Island or nearby. Everybody has to pitch in as best they can. So anyway, this is a spectacular time of the year. We're getting used to having spring. We're seeing the birds are all around. They've come back from, the first robin of spring is getting his worm, okay, or has already done that. Or of course, with a little bit of difficulty as far as asthma and so forth goes, the pollen and so forth. But nonetheless, what a beautiful time May is. May has been traditionally the time not only of mothers, but May, the time when we honor the Blessed Virgin Mary. And of course, she's the mother of our Savior. So when you think about Mary, you have many, many different themes that come to your mind. One of the things that's so beautiful today is the consecration of people to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. And this is given, this wonderful opportunity is given to us by St. Louis de Montfort. And then spin-offs have occurred from that. We just ended the year of St. Joseph, and many men, including myself, made the consecration to St. Joseph. And we discovered an awful lot about ourselves in struggling to get close to Joseph. Joseph was a mountain of a man. And the reason we honor him is not because of how much he said. He probably said little, but he took his responsibilities to take care of Mary and the child in a very, very serious way. So he had to deny himself in a lot of ways. Maybe there were things that he had often dreamed of doing, more expanding the carpentry shop, getting other business contacts. He laid off all the things that would interfere in any way with the primary responsibility that God gave him, okay, to take care of Mary and the child. And of course, we know he did that in an exemplary way. One of the nice things about taking a trip to the Holy Land is that sometimes you can get a trip extension into Sinai in Egypt. And one of the things that I didn't know much about at all was that the Coptic Church, the Christian church in Egypt, is the largest Christian church in the Middle East, about 10 million people. Of course, the Muslims far outnumber them in Egypt, and of course they're somewhat repressed because of that. But they've really taken seriously the time that Jesus and Mary and Joseph spent in Egypt, when the angel told Joseph to flee into Egypt because Herod wants to destroy the child. So Joseph did a magnificent job of bundling everybody up, getting them in there, getting some kind of a job when he got to Egypt to support the family. And according to the Coptic Church, Jesus and Mary and Joseph may have been in Egypt as long as 8 years. It's possible. I mean, it's likely several years anyway, but they have certain spots marked out, and it's almost like the way of the cross, except it's the way of the Holy Family as they traveled in this imaginative way, I suppose, across the top of Egypt till they came to a place where they could settle. So for men, it's Joseph, for the Blessed Mother, and for men, or for men and women, it's the Blessed Virgin, and of course for everyone, it's Jesus himself. These devotion to Mary and Joseph doesn't compete with our honoring the Lord. It rather enhances it. It helps us because it makes concrete. It makes real. It brings closer to home the humanity of Jesus. Mary was a true human being, okay, a true mother. Joseph is really more than a foster father. He's not the biological father of Jesus, of course. That's the Holy Spirit overshadowed Mary. But Nonetheless, he's far more than a foster father. He's really not a surrogate father, but he is really a very intimate person in the life of Jesus. And he had the privilege of teaching Jesus the human things. Imagine teaching the Son of God how to cut a board, or how to drive in a peg or a nail. And yet Joseph knew how to do this. And we hear that when Jesus began to teach and to preach, people referred to him, "Is this not the carpenter's son?" That's an interesting thing you can think of. So Joseph, in all probability, developed a shop, and Jesus was an apprentice in it, so much so that they identified him with his father as the son of a carpenter. And they kind of gave that title carpenter not only to Joseph, but to Jesus too. Interesting. So Joseph had an intimate and powerful amount of influence on the human level of the Son of God, the Word made flesh. Well, I just want to say that we have a nice crowd of young adults going on to Medjugorje, our pilgrimage this year. We probably have as many as 10 or 12 that will be making the trip. And this is a wonderful thing, because the younger you are, the more impressionable you can be when you're making a pilgrimage. They'll remember things for the rest of their lives that happened over there. And we do hope that it'll be a major factor in them staying close to the Lord. The interesting thing about Medjugorje is that, of course, is the spirituality. Very traditional, and yet with very real signs of a certain kind of very wise updating to deal with the realities of today and the realities of what they'll be facing tomorrow. Mary came at just the time to prepare the youth of Medjugorje to be real Christians and real Catholic witnesses during that awful civil war that broke out in Bosnia, exactly 10 years to the date that Mary appeared first in Medjugorje. So we do hope that others will come too. When these young people come back, they'll be on fire with wanting to share everything they experienced. So give them a good listening, give them a good hearing. And even if you're not able to think about even getting to Medjugorje at this time, at least incorporate in your own lives some of the enthusiastic joy and some of the experience of peace that comes from honoring Mary and placing ourselves in a relationship of consecration to her. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you, and see you next week.